You're listening to the Greeks Gridiron, live with Athan Hristodulu.
Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Greeks Gridiron. I am Athan Hristodulu, and today we are discussing the top 5 linebackers heading into the 2021 season. The linebacker position, it has evolved and changed over the years. I mean, I remember when I started watching the NFL, it was all about the big, nasty 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", 250, 60-pound linebackers. And today we have some linebackers that are playing in around like 220, 225, and they're flying all over the field covering tight ends. And even at this point, they're starting to get quick enough to even keep up with some wide receivers, depending on who we're talking about. But the top 5 linebackers, I considered 7 people seriously on this entire list here, and that's not to knock anybody, but I just think that there are 7 linebackers in the league that are, a cut above the rest, and then like from then up, it's like it gets very, very tight, but they're very dominant nonetheless. I do want to shout out the 2 linebackers of Blake Martinez of the Giants and Demario Davis of the Saints. 2 really good linebackers. Blake Martinez got just edged out on this list here. Demario Davis as well. Again, I only got 5 spaces to stick on these lists, and it's so hard trying to separate people. So take that as you will. For you Saints and Giants fans, if you feel like I snubbed your guy, I'm sorry. Maybe they'll be higher up on this list as we go through the year, or maybe towards the end of the year, whatever I end up deciding to do if I decide to revisit all these lists that I'm doing here for you guys today. Now, let's get into the thick of things. And remember, before we get going, like, comment, share, sub, all that good stuff. You enjoy what we're doing here. I appreciate you guys. We're getting close to 150 subs. We're at, I think, 134 at the time of recording this, which is a little bit before you guys are going to see this because I am on vacation. Now, the number 5, consistent. And it's funny because I said this about the number 5 in the safeties video of Harrison Smith, and I'm going to say it with Eric Kendricks as well, of the Minnesota Vikings. That defense is looking good. And, the more I do these lists, the more there's these Vikings players that pop up. And Vikings fans, I'm not going to lie, I think I might have gotten my NFC North prediction video wrong, which a lot of you have said I did. And the more I do these lists, the more I think, okay, maybe I did get this whole video wrong there with who I put at number 1. So go check that out if you have not seen the video. But Eric Kendricks, man, very good linebacker. Consistently year in and year out, the guy has like 100 and some odd tackles. He only played in 11 games last year, which is, and I want to stress that because his numbers here are absurd because of the fact that he had 107 tackles in only 11 games. The dude missed 5 games and he was at almost 110 tackles. The highest person on this list is at 138, and Blake Martinez was 152, and he's not even on the list. But I mean, Eric Kendricks is so good. He does a great job in coverage. He was considered one of the best coverage linebackers in the league last year from PFF. Missed tackle percentage of only 7%. So, I mean, really low number there, single digits. He doesn't have all the sacks, the forced fumbles and recoveries, things like that. He did have 3 interceptions, though, as a linebacker, which is really impressive. On top of that, 6 passes defense. So, again, one of the best coverage linebackers. I'm talking linebackers here. One of the best coverage linebackers in the NFL. I mean, just year in and year out, this guy has been consistent, especially the last few years. And, I have no reason to really believe he's not going to continue to do so going into this next season. A lot of Vikings fans are very high on him. I've seen some top 5 videos come out recently, or just posts in general, snubbing Eric Kendricks from the list. When you go back and you watch what the guy does, especially when he's fully healthy, I mean, he is, in my opinion, one of the top linebackers in the league, holding it down in the middle of the field there. So if you're wondering why Blake Martinez and Demario Davis aren't on here, Eric Kendricks is the reason why. Now, coming in at number 4, I thought I was going to have him higher on this list, but then when I was going through the numbers, going through some of the tape, I couldn't put him higher on the list, but I wanted to. Lavonte David, man, Super Bowl champion, coming off that, dominating display that entire Tampa Bay defense running through the playoffs and what they did in the Super Bowl. Outstanding stuff from top to bottom. Lavonte David has been a guy who's been around for a long time now, and he has been consistently one of the best linebackers in the league. And honestly, he is still the best linebacker on Tampa Bay. I know a lot of people are, clamoring for Devin White and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, he's great, but as an entire linebacker as a whole, Lavonte David is a far superior player. Devin White still has a lot to learn. Devin White is extremely athletic, and he is going to be great, and he's already doing really great things. But, Lavonte David is a full, complete, seasoned vet at the linebacker position, and he has been outstanding his entire career. 117 tackles last year. He had a sack and a half, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 6 pass defense, and interception. Like, the dude did everything, and he only missed 7.9% of his tackles when going in for that big hit there. So, there's a lot you can say about Lavonte David. One thing you can't say about him is that he does not play the position well, and that you can't say that he does not, just know how to be a great linebacker, because I feel for as long as I have watched football at this point, and I started watching around like 2005, and from when Lavonte David came in, I want to say, I don't know, I think he came in 2011 or 12, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's been in the league for 9 years now. I don't know the number off the top of my head. Lavonte David has just been a top linebacker in the league. I've always seen him as a top linebacker in the league. And at this point in his career, he is still one of the top linebackers in the league, coming in hot at number 4. Now, coming in for the number 3 spot. This one will hit home for me. And funny enough, I could argue that he's even higher as a fan of the Colts, but I think the number 3 spot is good for him because the 2 people I have ahead of him, I feel, are just playing at ridiculous levels at their position. Darius Leonard, the guy came in and was the tackles leader his rookie season. They call him the Maniac for a reason. The dude does literally everything excellent. At the linebacker position. Just last year, he had 132 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 7 pass defense. Last year was his first year where he didn't have an interception. The year prior, he had 5. His completion percentage that he allows is a little bit high. It's actually the highest on the list at 81.4%, which I was a little surprised about. But his missed tackle percentage is the lowest on this list that I have here for the 5 linebackers, coming in at a very small 5%. So he's making 95% of the tackles when he's going in for one. Darius Leonard he's not even 26 years old yet, and the dude is playing out of his mind, and I can only imagine where he's going to be in another few years, where he just has even more experience at the position. I have no reason to believe he's going to fall off. I remember the first year watching him go as a rookie, just thinking to myself, damn, imagine he's this good the rest of his career, and I almost couldn't believe that something like that would be possible, and he's just continued to stay that good his entire career. He leads a bunch of statistical categories over the last 3 seasons since he's entered the NFL. If you don't think Darius Leonard isn't a top 3 linebacker in the league, like, please tell me. If it's one of the 2 guys underneath him and you're trying to argue that, like, sure, but if it's anyone else, like, no, I'm sorry, Darius Leonard is damn good. And that's like fanhood aside. The Colts fan Athan would have a lot more to say about Darius Leonard, but that's who I got sitting in at number 3. Now, coming in at number 2, and it's funny enough, I noticed this as I was putting together the pictures of the players here over to my left-hand side. Something about the number 54 in the linebacker position, man. They just all seem to be so damn dominant. Darius Leonard's the only person here that is not number 54 so far on the list, and he's sitting at number 53, so he's one away. But Bobby Wagner, man, coming in at number 2. This is a guy who, he at pretty much any point in his career has been the best linebacker in the league. Him and Luke Kuechly for a while were like duking it out as the best linebackers in the league for, the duration of Luke Kuechly's career until he retired. But, 138 tackles last year. He had the 3 sacks, fumble recovery, passes defense. Didn't have an interception last year, but Bobby Wagner's a guy that gets his hands on the football a lot, and he has a handful of career interceptions as well, allowing a very small 64.2% completion percentage, and he only has a missed tackle percentage of 6.8 on the list. The dude's an athletic freak. He can play and just move all over the field and cover just about anyone you need to in the middle, running backs, tight ends. The guy is fast for a linebacker, and he can hit too. But this is a guy that year in and year out, just he is always dominant at his position. And I mean, if somebody wanted to come on into the comment section and tell me, Bobby Wagner's the number one guy and the person you have at number one shouldn't be at number one, like, honestly, man, you have an argument, and I'm not going to sit there and fight with you about it. It's all opinion based, and just more so, what do you value more than the other when it comes to picking the top 5 of the players at this position here? But I mean, Bobby Wagner is damn good at this point in his career. He is still one of the best, and if not the best at the position, and you could definitely argue him for being number one. But I have somebody on the list in front of him in the division, Fred Warner, another number 54. Everyone besides Darius Leonard on this list is 54. I thought that was really funny when I was putting this whole thing together here. 125 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 6 pass defense, 2 interceptions, 62.3% completion percentage, the lowest on the list, and he has a 5.3 missed tackle percentage. He, either is in the lead or close to the lead for all these statistics. And if you have not seen what Fred Warner does, talk about playing the linebacker at a wild level when it comes to like run defense, stuffing the run, also in coverage as well. I mean, you're getting his hands on the football, shutting it down in the center of the field. It's so crazy. Watching him is like almost like watching like a hybrid safety play the position. It's very weird because he's so good in coverage. Then on top of that, just overall, like he can do anything you need to at the linebacker position for him. He has played so well, and I cannot believe the 49ers have not already settled out a contract with him, because the 49ers are going to be scrutinized if they do not find a way to keep Fred Warner on that defense. Because, dude, I mean, in my opinion, Fred Warner is the best linebacker in the league at this point in his career. The dude is outstanding at what he does. Watching his highlights go ahead and do yourself a favor and watch some of those highlights if you have not already. But I mean, is he the clear number one? Maybe not. I would argue that these top 3 linebackers that I have on the list here, between Leonard, Wagner, and Warner, are all debatable as to who the best linebacker in the league is. Colts fan Athan would scream to the rooftops that number 1 should be Darius Leonard, but football fan Athan says look at it a little bit more objectively and just kind of think about what's going on and how they've been playing the last few years. Darius Leonard had a little bit of a down year last season for his standards. Bobby Wagner still doing his thing. Fred Warner's playing out of his mind. Please let me know what you think in the comment section down below, though, because, I'm not married to my top 3. This top 5 list, I would say, is the top 5 linebackers, but I'm not married to the organization of the top 3. It was a very, okay, I'm just going to settle on this. Otherwise, I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to put this top 3 together here. But please let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I appreciate you all for joining me for my top 5 linebackers video. I will catch you guys next time with another video. Have a good one.